Chosen one, today heaven leans closer to your name. For seasons you felt unseen, misunderstood, tested beyond measure. You walked through silence when prayers seemed unanswered. You stood firm when storms tried to rename you. And now, something has shifted. What you just did, what you chose in obedience, humility, and courage, has echoed in eternity. This was the moment God had been waiting for. Not perfection, not performance, but surrender. Not noise, but faith. Chosen one, heaven is not disappointed in you. Heaven is proud. God is impressed because you finally aligned your will with His divine purpose. Chosen one, when you decided to choose obedience over comfort, something irreversible happened in the spirit. Obedience is not glamorous. It does not always come with applause, validation, or immediate reward. In fact, most of the time it feels lonely. It feels like walking away from what you could have had. It feels like swallowing words you wanted to say. It feels like resisting impulses that would have given you temporary relief. But in that quiet resistance, you proved your maturity. There was a moment when you could have taken the easier route. You could have compromised your standards just a little. You could have justified your anger. You could have returned disrespect for disrespect. You could have chased the opportunity that looked profitable but did not feel pure. No one would have blamed you. Many would have understood. But you didn't move according to pressure. You moved according to conviction. That is what impressed heaven. Obedience is costly because it requires surrender. It requires you to trust outcomes you cannot see. When you obeyed, you released control. You stopped trying to manipulate timelines. You stopped trying to prove yourself to people who were never assigned to validate you. You stopped forcing doors that would have exhausted you. Instead, you stood still when your flesh wanted to run. You stayed disciplined when your emotions wanted comfort. You held your integrity when compromise would have made life easier. What you may not realize is that obedience builds capacity. Every time you resist the shortcut, you strengthen your spirit. Every time you delay gratification, you expand your endurance. Every time you refuse to betray your values, you fortify your character. God has been far more concerned with your development than your destination. The blessing without the character would have crushed you. The platform without the discipline would have exposed you. The relationship without the healing would have broken you. So heaven waited, not to deny you, but to prepare you. You showed that you are no longer driven by impulse. You showed that you can be trusted with influence. When no one was watching, you made the right decision. That is the purest form of obedience. Anyone can perform when there is an audience. Anyone can appear righteous when it benefits them. But private obedience is what moves God. The quiet prayers, the unseen sacrifices, the discipline in your daily habits. The way you corrected yourself without being corrected. The way you chose patience instead of panic. Those choices built something invisible but powerful. There were days when obedience felt like loss. It felt like you were missing out. It felt like others were advancing while you were waiting. But what you didn't see is that waiting was working for you. While you were choosing obedience, Foundations were being laid beneath you. Stability was forming under your future. When acceleration comes now, you will not wobble. When favor finds you, you will not fumble, because obedience trained you to handle success without losing your soul. God is impressed because you stopped negotiating with your calling. Before, you wanted the reward without the refinement. You wanted the promise without the process. But this time, you embraced the process. You chose to trust even when clarity was absent. That trust is powerful. It signals spiritual adulthood. It says, even if I don't understand, I will align. And alignment unlocks authority. The narrow path you chose required courage. It required you to walk away from environments that drained you. It required you to say no when yes would have been easier. It required you to forgive people who never apologized. That forgiveness freed you. It removed emotional weight you had been carrying for years. Obedience cleanses. It clears internal clutter. It sharpens your discernment. Now you stand in a different posture. You are no longer striving. You are no longer desperate. You are steady, and steadiness is strength. The very thing that once felt restrictive has become your advantage. Discipline is now your confidence. Integrity is now your shield. Patience is now your strategy. Chosen one. Heaven was waiting for this version of you. The version that obeys without bargaining. The version that trusts without signs. The version that acts from faith instead of fear. That is why the shift feels different this time. It is not hype. It is readiness. And readiness attracts reward. Chosen one. When you embraced transformation, instead of clinging to who you used to be, you stepped into sacred ground. Transformation is not a moment. It is a surrender that happens again and again. It is the decision to outgrow your old reactions, your old excuses, your old fears. It is the courage to admit that the person you were cannot carry the destiny ahead of you. And when you accepted that truth, heaven took notice. There was a time when you defined yourself by what hurt you. You wore your disappointments like identity. You replayed betrayals in your mind. You allowed past failures to whisper limitations into your future. But something shifted. You stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And started asking, who is this shaping me to become? That question unlocked growth. Instead of resisting the pressure, you leaned into it. Instead of blaming others, you examined yourself. That humility created room for divine elevation. Transformation is uncomfortable because it demands release. You had to release relationships that felt familiar but were no longer aligned. You had to release habits that once comforted you but quietly delayed you. You even had to release certain dreams, not because they were bad, but because they were smaller than what God intended. Letting go felt like loss at first. It felt like emptiness. But emptiness creates capacity. When you emptied yourself of outdated identities, you made room for divine assignment. You are not the same person who once reacted from insecurity. You do not crumble under the same triggers. You do not chase the same validation. That is growth. There were conversations you once would have handled emotionally, but now you respond with clarity. There were opportunities you once would have pursued impulsively, but now you discern carefully. That shift is evidence of transformation. It proves you are no longer led by wounds, but by wisdom. Healing was part of your transformation, and healing required honesty. You had to confront parts of yourself you avoided for years. You had to acknowledge pride, fear, jealousy, doubt. You had to admit where you sabotaged your own progress. That level of self-awareness is rare. Many people prefer comfort over correction. But you chose correction. You allowed God to refine your character. You accepted accountability. And accountability is the doorway to authority. Transformation also meant embracing discipline in areas no one applauds. Your mornings changed. Your thoughts changed. Your language changed. You became more intentional about what you consume, who you listen to, how you spend your time. Small shifts in daily habits created massive shifts in spiritual alignment. You stopped entertaining distractions that once drained you. You stopped engaging in drama that once defined you. You became selective with your energy. That selectiveness is wisdom, not arrogance. There were moments when growth felt lonely. As you evolved, certain people could no longer relate to you. Conversations felt shallow. Environments felt heavy. You realized that not everyone is meant to walk into your next season. And instead of shrinking to stay connected, you expanded to stay aligned. That decision required strength. It required you to trust that God would replace what you outgrew, and He will. Transformation is proof of readiness. When God sees you managing your emotions, stewarding your time, guarding your integrity, He knows you can handle influence. Elevation without transformation would have amplified your weaknesses. But now, your weaknesses are being refined into strengths. Your patience is stronger. Your discernment is sharper. Your confidence is rooted in identity, not applause. The version of you that once doubted your worth has been replaced by someone who understands assignment. You are no longer trying to fit into spaces that shrink you. You are preparing for spaces that require you. That internal shift is more powerful than any external opportunity. Because when opportunity comes, you will not question whether you belong. You will know. Chosen one. God is impressed because you allowed the process to change you. You did not rush growth. You did not fake maturity. You endured the stretching, and stretching increases capacity. The discomfort you survived expanded your vision. The tears you cried cleansed your perspective. The silence you endured deepened your faith. Now you stand transformed, not perfect, but prepared. Not flawless, but focused. The old version of you would not recognize the strength you now carry. And that strength is quiet, steady, unshakable. Transformation has positioned you for acceleration. You are aligned in spirit, disciplined in character, and clear in purpose. That is why this season feels different. You are no longer waiting to become ready. You are ready.